Welcome to Eye on the Illini. This is Mike Cagley. This is going to be a good show, folks. Now, I'm always excited by the guests we have, but tonight I am especially. We've got Tai Streets, the man who created and coaches and runs Meanstreets, one of the premier AAU organizations in the country. He's going to be on, and we'll have Kedric Prince, director of recruiting, on with him. This is a show you're not going to want to miss, so stay tuned. As promised, we've got a super treat today. We've got Tai Streets, who is the man who started Meanstreets, which is one of the premier AAU programs in the United States. We've got Kedric Prince, our director of recruiting. And for you folks who are out there who may not know who Tai Streets is, he's one of the legends of Illinois high school sports, All-American in football, All-State in basketball, and actually put the final nail in Kevin Garnett's team's coffin, state champion in track, then went to Michigan, led the team in receiving 96, 97, 98, won a share of the national championship, caught 2 TDs in the Rose Bowl, was all Big Ten, but then did something you don't hear a lot about. He played basketball and was on that team that won the 97 NIT before maybe that got taken away.
Got taken away.
Played 5 seasons with the 49ers. So you're on there with some guy named Rice and another guy named Owens.
Right.
So, and then to top it off, you play a 6th season with the Lions. Then when you come back, you start doing Meanstreets basketball in 2001. And people don't really think about this, but guys like, let's see, I've heard of Derrick Rose. He played for you, Anthony Davis, Patrick Beverly, Tyler Ewis. You got Basley, Kendrick Nunn, and of course, Ty Rodgers, a current Illini player. And you've got Morez Johnson, who's on the way to being an Illini player. That resume, I can understand why kids and why parents want their kids and why their kids want to play for you. How did you come up with Meanstreets after all the stuff you did in multiple sports? How'd you settle on basketball?
It was just something in the off season. I went bowling. Me and Carlton DeBose, the one who runs at Nike UIBL, we were bowling with our old AAU basketball coach back in Chicago Heights. We were bowling the bowling alley, and he said he had too many players. And I said, man, he said, too many players for the 8th grade team. I said, we always wanted to coach. We always talk about coaching. We always analyzing games. So I asked him, like, man, you want to do this? Let's do it. Let's start up a little AU team. Because I asked to come under him, but I think he had too many coaches. So at the time, I just said, let's just do our own thing. My mom was doing the track and cheerleading, and it just went from there. We started that with one team, and it just kept expanding year after year. And we enjoyed coaching and trying to help kids.
How hard is it to keep kids? I mean, AAU, I had a program here in the Quad Cities. I had it for like 10, 12 years. Everybody's poaching everybody, Ty, and then you're trying to keep the best players. I mean, I never got to your level. We were close, but how hard is it to keep those better players or even to get them? I mean, you have a lot of competition in Chicago.
Yeah, it's too many AAU teams. But you just have to put out the right product. You got to just tell the kids and the families, tell them what you can do from as far as getting them better, getting them ready, making them come in, making them better players on and off the court. You have to live up to your word and just be true to what you do. So that's what we believe in, just being honest. We have Nike. We're a Nike sponsored program, but you just got to stick to what you say. And I think our resume goes a long way. I think I've been doing this for like 23 years now, starting in 2001. So we just try to just stick to that. We're going to lose kids, we know that, but we just try to stick to our guns and do what we do. Say what we're going to do, what we're going to say, and honor our word.
Yeah, and as a guy who coached small teams, in downstate Illinois, I was always admiring how your guys, no matter what happened on the offensive end on a given night, man, they brought hell to pay when it comes to playing defense. And, and we tried to do that, play hard defense all the time. And a lot of people think the perception of AAU is you go down and shoot and then you let the other team shoot. That isn't Meanstreets basketball, is it?
No, that's not how we do it. No, I'll go crazy watching that. I mean, I know sometimes it drives people crazy, but that's what I believe in. Defense, obviously. That you got to better stop guys. And I think it's some of our personal pride. That's how we grew up. Kind of, like you said, playing against Garnett, Ronnie Fields, and those guys. With basketball, it's the mecca. Chicago's still a mecca of basketball. I don't care what they say. You have to bring it on both ends. So that's what I take pride in, just trying to teach our guys to play defense. I want guys that want to play defense that are tough kids. So I don't like soft kids that don't want to defend. So we obviously got to put the ball in the basket, but you got to be able to defend to play for Meanstreets.
Now, one that leads me into the first kind of topic we're going to talk about tonight. But Illini fans are watching the FIBA games. They've had an opportunity to get a taste, of what Morez can do. Can you give Illini fans a little bit of expectations about what type of guy and what type of player is coming down to Champaign next year?
No, first of all, he's a winner. Morez is a 100% a winner. Tough kid, hard-working kid, loves basketball, stays in the gym. You can't keep him out the gym. And he's only getting better and better every year. I remember sitting here, he was real raw as a 7th, 8th grader, and he just kept improving. He's getting taller, but he worked on his game. He puts a lot of work in, and he's improving. He always can play defense, but his skill set is becoming much better. He can shoot the ball, he can handle a little bit, and he can defend 1 through 5. I know in high school he could. I think he's going to bring that to the Illini as well, but he's just a tough kid, tough-minded kid, doesn't like to lose, and his game his skill set is really coming along. He can shoot, like I said, he can shoot that ball, and he can handle it. I think you see a little bit on USA. I saw a little bit of film of him taking the coast to coast and going to finish. So he still has a lot of potential and upside. I think it's going to be great for Illinois.
Mike and I got to see him play when he was a freshman, when he was playing for another school. So we followed his career. But, I mean, he was wrong. Just like you said, he was just better. And I remember watching him play. He had one move, and it was just that little drop step because he was bigger and better than everybody else.
Right.
But now that's kind of changed, And Illinois, I give Illinois credit. They didn't bring anybody in to over-recruit him. Yes, they brought another big in from overseas. The Big Ten is tough. I mean, do you think it'll take a while, the way he's played right now and the way his game is, do you think it'll take him a while to adjust, or do you think he's big enough and ready to come in to play in the Big Ten to help out and give Illinois some good minutes?
I think he's going to play right away because he just has that type of motor, obviously. He doesn't stop. And like I said, he's a hard worker, and he's willing to learn. He want to be coached. So that's the great. Some guys don't want to be coached. He definitely wants to be coached. Like I said, he's really improved. You can't back off of him. He can knock it down, and right away he can rebound, and he's faster than everybody as his size. And I think he can contribute right away. Right, I think he's that good, and he works that hard to do that.
I thought the interesting thing watching him in Memphis is he was a great communicator on defense, and I don't think people really understand that he will help call out defensive plays and call out what's even would direct people on offense as well, which really talks to how he understands the game.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, he takes pride in that stuff. I mean, he's self-motivated. That's a good thing. That's the best word for him. You don't need to get on him because he's already going to do that because he loves basketball, and you want that in your program, a gym rat. And he's a natural leader because he works hard on everybody, and people have to fall in line.
Tai, without giving us any names, because I know that's not the professional route, but he committed to Illinois early. How hard was it for him to stay committed? I guess my question is, were there a lot of other teams trying to persuade him to get him to back out of his commitment since you were involved in his AAU life? How hard was that? Or did it even happen?
Yeah, I've heard through the grapevine that people are trying to get him different schools, but he's a loyal kid. He's a really loyal kid. Once he committed, I don't care what people offer him. He was sticking to it.
Tai, one of the things we've seen, of course, is Tim Anderson obviously has done a lot of work in Chicago as well, was part of the Meanstreets organization. How important is that background when he goes to coach in colleges, and how important is it when he's trying to talk to recruits and he's able to put himself in their shoes and understand what they're going through?
Yeah, Tim he's great. He's awesome. Like he started with the Meanstreets program, but he's always been good with the kid, great with the kids. He can teach. He could he just does a great job. He communicates with those guys. They just feel comfortable with him because he's a real person. He's loyal, and he's a heck of a guy. So I think people just like Morez and Tai, they love him. I think he recruited them guys. I know he recruited them guys. And he's just a guy that you respect, and he's going to go to bat for you. And I think he's just great. He's a great recruiter.
One of the things since he's been in Champaign, and I mean, I got to be honest with you, he's one of my better friends.
Okay.
I have a lot of respect for him, Ty. And one of the things you said was how loyal he is. It's scary. He just did another podcast for somebody else talking about staying in Champaign and how loyal he is. But I guess my question is, when he recruits some of your kids in your program, is there a loyalty factor? Or some people think just because he's affiliated, he's helped out with Meanstreets, that every kid's going to go there, go to school. But can you talk about that process?
Yeah, he does his work on his own. I mean, obviously, with our kids, we know Tim and we trust him, but he still has to do his own work recruiting and getting people to go Illinois, because people have different options, and he has to do his work just like everyone else, and he does a heck of a job letting the kids know and their families know that Illinois is a great place for them. So, like I know he's a Meanstreets guy, but he has to do all the work on his own and sell on his own how to get them to Illinois. But it does help that he's a Meanstreets guy with our program. But like I said, they have plenty of options to go anywhere, and he does a heck of a job of what he does.
Tyler, let me ask one more question real quick. When you played, it's a little different right now. Is the perception better for the kids staying in state, coming from Chicago to Illinois? Is it about the same? I know I've been around for a long time. You can see the white hairs on my beard, man. I know what that was like. Has it gotten better, or it's okay to play at Illinois, or does Illinois still have to fight that stigma of don't go to Illinois because it's not a good place to go play basketball? Or has that changed?
I think it's changed a lot with Brad and Tim and them guys are in there. They did a heck of a job recruiting the state of Illinois. I think in the past, nothing against the older guys that were there, they didn't recruit Illinois like they should have, and I think they're taking care of their own backyard right now, and they're doing a heck of a job. People know it's okay to go to Illinois, and like I said, you got to give kudos to their staff, Brad and his staff, and of course Tim. They do a heck of a job recruiting in state and of course out of state. They're a national product now, but in state they're getting their guys.
Speaking of getting their guys, Ty Rodgers, we were talking in the break before, down in Dallas back in, I think, 2021. He thought, I really thought he and Anthony Black, even though neither of them was as highly rated as some of the other players, I thought they were the two best players on the court. Ty plays unrelenting defense. He hustles every second on the court. Is there any secrets that you might have towards him getting just a little bit more confidence on the offensive end? Because the Ty that I saw he was not a 3-point specialist, but he'd knock him down if he needed to.
Right. I think this year will be this year that he's more offensive minded, because he can do all that. It takes people different stages. Everybody's not a made product right away, but Ty will get it done. He's a heck of a competitor. Like you said, he can guard anybody in the country, but he's playing point. I think he's going to have a great year this year, breakout year offensively. And I think the sky's the limit for him as well. I believe in them guys, just being around them and knowing them. I think Ty's going to have a big year this year offensively.
Were you surprised he was one of two kids tied to stick around? All the other kids left, and some kids he didn't. I mean, he didn't, which is, I don't want to say I'm surprised, but I am. Are you?
No, I'm not surprised. Like I said, these guys them two guys are Morez. And speaking of Morez and Tyler, I know more than anybody, obviously, in the program, they're loyal guys, and they believe in, if they say they're going to be somewhere, they usually stick with it, from what I know of them. So, and nothing's changed. Just talking to Ty, I knew he was going to stick around. He wants to keep getting better. He's another gym rat, and he's going to stick it out and make the best of it.
Now, Meanstreets, I want to make sure people understand that the future is just as bright as the past. Are there any kids in the organization that Illini fans should take out a piece of paper right now and write their names down, because they need to be watching these Meanstreet players? when you guys come to town?
Yeah, I think throughout the program our young guys are really up and coming. I don't want to just single out any of them, but we have a lot of guys that are up and coming that are going to be pretty good. As if they stay humble and keep working hard, they're going to be darn good. And I think that's throughout the program from 12U on up to 17U. I think you guys have Illinois has offered a couple guys, but I think it's a good future. I mean, that's all I'm gonna say like that. If these guys stay humble and keep working, the sky's the limit for them guys as well. But Illinois should be looking at some more Meanstreets guys, hopefully down the road.
But Ty, we talked a little bit before the air. Most people know where I live in the Quad Cities, and Illinois did offer a guy from the Quad City area. Can you just talk a little bit about his game? Are you surprised, or is there more yet to come with him?
I think it's more yet to come. Josiah has, I always been using this word a lot, tremendous upside. Because I started coaching that group like 2 weeks ago, that 15-year group, very talented group. We had Josiah Harrington from, like I said, the Quad City. You can go down the line from that group. I was just speaking on Josiah because you mentioned him. He has a tremendous upside coming from the Quad Cities. You know, that area usually doesn't produce like Chicago area, but when you get one, he's pretty special. And that kid is going to be really special. And I think that entire group is going to be special, that 15-year group. From 1 through 9, 10 kids I have on that team. So it's a special group, and the sky's the limit for that group.
So yeah, if you're an Illini fan and you're at a tournament, you're going to want to sit down and watch that U15 team and try to figure out which one of those guys or which ones might end up at Illinois. And there's probably going to be a few who end up in the Big Ten and at high majors that will make an impact.
I think so too. I think those guys will have opportunities everywhere, that group. So yeah, keep watching that group. That's a special group, I think, at the end of the day.
Ty, my last question for you is this. A lot of people don't give back, and you're putting your heart and time into this, man. And 100%. We're not, we're not 15 years old anymore. What's keeping you going, buddy?
That's a good question. No, I still love coaching after all these years. And I love helping kids still. That's still I'm still genuine about that. And the guys that are around me, the guys that are with us, the Slaughters and Curtis, all the guys that are with us, Eve, they believe the same. They love coaching and getting kids better. So that's the big thing. We're gonna stick doing it. I know it's a little different atmosphere now with the NIL stuff, but it's still about that. Trying to get kids to the next level and just see them prosper on and off the court.
How's the NIL? I'm not certain if there's any type of, it's just chaos, but how has that affected things, from your standpoint as you're watching this? You've had the rare thing of being the athlete in high school, being the athlete in college, and and now you're coaching some of these kids on that same path. Right. How convoluted is this NIL made things?
Well, first of all, I wish it was back when I played. I'm in the wrong era. Yep. But but no, it's I think they just got to get. I don't know. I think it's good for the kids because they deserve it. They put a lot of money into the programs and coaches and all that stuff. It's just they got to figure out how to get it right. I don't know. It is a little chaotic, but I think the kids deserve it. They just got to figure it out how they're going to do it. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is, but I think the kids should be compensated for whatever they do. But there's got to be some type of, control over it, I guess, a little bit. They got to figure that out. I don't get paid to figure that out, but somebody got to figure that out.
Well, Ty, you know what? I know you're being professional, and we love that about you. I'm just going to be blunt. It's out of control, man. And I'm going to tell you what's bad about it. All these people are donating money, but you're going to go to the well so many times, and it's not going to work. They have to police it, whatever that method is. I don't know. There's some kids that want to go to a program and then don't because they get outbid. I don't know. I think the NCAA and all these lawsuits and the legal part has to figure it out because it's scary. I just remember, like I said to you, when it was go recruit a kid, talk to the family and coaches. But there's been a lot of schools, man, that have lost kids because of that NIL dollar. So you're right. They have to figure something out here soon because at this rate right now, you got kids that are being paid $1 million. Then I think there was one kid who was offered $2 million. What is that going to be like in 3 or 4 years? Why would you go to the NBA, man, because you're going to make 2 or 3 million playing college, and then you could take your classes online. So why would you go to the NBA?
Yeah, I know. I hear what you're saying. I 100% hear what you're saying. Just I don't know, man. I don't know what the answer is. Like I said, but like I said, I think the kids obviously do need to be compensated. I just don't know what's the right way of doing it. They should get paid, but I don't know what's the limit, what's the ceiling. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement that the NCAA could have avoided a lot of this just by back in the 70s and the 80s when Oklahoma sold a 44 jersey for Bosworth. Bosworth should have got $5 a jersey and pay all your football players and basketball players and a couple $1,000, you know, $1,000 a month. You probably never would have got to where we're at today, but
yeah, they didn't do well back in the day.
No, they did not.
University was just taking all the money back in the day, so I guess now they're paying for it now.
Yeah, that's the way it is. Thanks so much, Ty, for coming on. I would greatly encourage any Illini fans or basketball fans, if you're seeing an EYBL tournament and you go look at the schedule, if you find when Meanstreets plays, you're going to see a team that's well coached, plays aggressive defense, and does not like to lose. I think that's all you can ask for a coach to instill in the players. And Ty does that. And you can see that permeate from the 12U all the way to 17U. It's pretty impressive. Ty, thanks for coming on.
I appreciate you having me. You guys
All right.
take it easy. Thanks again.
Kedric, thanks for being on and helping get through some questions there and talk with Ty. I was really excited by what he thinks is going to go on with Ty Rodgers. And of course, you and I have been as high on Morez as people can be. Looks like 2 more reasons to be excited about Illini basketball this season.
Oh, without a doubt. And also just the future. He has a great relationship with Tim and the University of Illinois. And even though he went to Michigan, he's definitely put that in the past. And he's trying to help his kids, first of all, get to college and give them a chance to succeed. I'm going to have an opportunity to follow his program around, and especially that they have offers out to some of the younger players. Basketball never, well, I shouldn't say basketball, recruiting never stops. I'll put it that way. And it's good to hear from a guy like that and how dedicated he is in his relationship with Illinois. And one thing he said, I really want fans who are listening to this podcast, Mike, you and I have talked about it, Larry, Matt, and Brad, all of us, the guys on staff. Illinois has a good brand. It's a good place to play basketball now. And I think that was huge to hear somebody like him say that. It's a brand, it's a national brand is what he said. So for the people out there who think Illinois is behind the 8 ball, you just heard one of the top AAU programs in the country, their owner talk about where Illinois basketball stands. And when you look at their schedule that they're playing 10 years ago, you wouldn't have been able to put Alabama on a schedule. You wouldn't be able to get a home with Tennessee. So the basketball in Illinois has definitely evolved, and they're reaching out all over the country, Mike, to get players in the state, in the Midwest, coast to coast, and in different countries.
Yeah, you got Europe, and maybe it's hard to see where they're going to get somebody next. Canada, you never know. They're going all over the place, beating the bushes for players. Well, folks, we really appreciate you listening. And of course, if you are watching, if you subscribe to the IlliniGuys.com YouTube channel, you can get these things. And of course, IlliniGuys.com is where not only you'll get the podcast, but you'll get inside information like what Kedric has, like what Brad has, and it'll be back in the message boards. Because sometimes rumors you just can't verify, can't put out an article on it, but you can still let people know what looks like is going to be happening. And that's the advantage to being a IlliniGuys.com subscriber. So go out to our website and take a look at that, and then subscribe here on YouTube, and you will greatly enhance your enjoyment of Illinois sports. Thank you so much for staying on and listening to this show. We greatly appreciate having you here. Of course, you can subscribe to IlliniGuys.com on YouTube, and you can subscribe to IlliniGuys.com, our website. That's $99 a year, and you get the inside information, and it really is nice when you don't have to worry about being surprised about who Illinois signs. IlliniGuys.com, whether you live in Champaign or Chicago, halfway across the United States or halfway across the world, IlliniGuys.com keeps you in the know. Until next time, Go Illini.